What would you do if you saw an animal in distress, and then discovered something that defied all logic? This is the unbelievable story of a man who saved a crying bear, but little did he know, that single act of kindness would lead him into a mystery that no one could explain. Nestled deep within the heart of the American wilderness, there's a place where humans and animals coexist, but sometimes, things happen that seem too strange to believe. Meet Tom Mitchell, an average man with an extraordinary story to tell. Tom loved exploring the wilds of the forest. He'd spend weekends hiking, photographing wildlife, and just immersing himself in nature. He never thought he'd have to play the role of a hero, but that's exactly what happened one afternoon. One day, Tom was out on a typical hike when something unexpected caught his attention. At first, he thought it was the wind, but no, it was unmistakable. The sound of a bear crying for help. Curiosity drove Tom deeper into the forest. What he found, he could hardly believe. A bear, a massive, majestic creature, was sitting by a tree, weeping uncontrollably. Tom had seen bears before, but never like this. Bears are solitary creatures, strong and independent, but this one was vulnerable. It was in distress, and it needed help. Tom knew he couldn't just leave the bear there. He carefully approached, knowing the danger, but understanding that this animal needed assistance. His instinct as a lover of nature kicked in. And in that moment, Tom did the unimaginable. He reached out, offering comfort. But as Tom guided the bear to safety, something strange happened. The bear seemed to respond, not like a wild animal, but almost as if it recognized him. The crying stopped. The bear became calm, following him closely. For a moment, Tom thought it was just a fluke. Maybe the bear was simply exhausted. But something in the bear's gaze felt different. Like it knew Tom. Almost as if they had met before. The bear didn't just stop crying. It started behaving peculiarly. Tom noticed the bear wasn't just following him, it was copying him. Mimicking his every movement. That night, Tom camped out in the woods, unsure of what to think. As he sat by the fire, the bear didn't wander off, like any wild animal would. Instead, it lay beside him, watching him with those eerily intelligent eyes. Then, just as Tom thought he was getting used to the situation, something unbelievable happened. As the fire flickered, the bear spoke. At first, Tom thought he was hearing things. A soft, almost indistinguishable sound. But as he listened closely, he realized it wasn't just a growl or a grunt. It was words. The bear said something no one could explain. "I know you. I've been waiting for you." It was impossible. No one had ever heard a bear speak. Tom didn't know what to do. Was he imagining things? Had the forest played a trick on him? Or was this something far more mysterious? Determined to find answers, Tom turned to history. After all, he had no explanation for what had just happened. He scoured books, records, and ancient legends, until he stumbled upon something strange. He found an old tale, a Native American legend about a bear shaman, a mystical figure who could communicate with animals. It was said that certain humans, chosen by the spirits, would be able to understand the animals of the forest. Could it be possible that Tom had become one of them? But the story didn't end there. As Tom continued his research, he learned of a rare condition in which certain animals could take on human traits in times of crisis. Could it be that this bear was not just an animal, but a spirit of some kind? Or was it something else entirely? Tom had no answers, but one thing was clear: there was more to this encounter than met the eye. As days turned into weeks, Tom and the bear developed an unlikely bond. The bear would follow him everywhere, never leaving his side. It seemed as though the two were connected on a deeper level. But Tom began to feel changed. There was a sense of peace, an unspoken understanding, that had never been there before. Tom began to realize that saving the bear was more than just a simple act of kindness. It was a part of something bigger, something beyond his understanding. It felt as though the forest itself had chosen him. And then, as mysteriously as it had appeared, the bear disappeared. Without a trace. It left no sign, no clue, just an empty space in the woods, and a man with questions that might never be answered. To this day, no one knows what really happened. Did Tom really communicate with a mystical creature? Was the bear an animal, or something far more profound? What if it was all a sign, a message from the wilderness itself? Sometimes, the answers to our most profound questions aren't meant to be understood. But for Tom, one thing is certain: the bond between man and animal can sometimes transcend the boundaries of reality itself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this incredible story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable tales from the wild. And until next time, remember, sometimes the most impossible things can happen when you least expect them. But this story doesn't end here, because as Tom began to process the unbelievable events surrounding the bear, his mind started to spiral with even more questions. What if there were others like this bear? What if the forest had more secrets than anyone could imagine? It wasn't long before Tom realized that he wasn't the only one who believed there was something extraordinary about the bear. The local community started to take notice of his story, and soon, whispers about the magical bear began to spread like wildfire. Some people swore they'd seen something like it before. Others were convinced it was just a wild coincidence. Curiosity began to grow as more and more people became interested in Tom's story. Some even turned to ancient folklore, where stories of shapeshifters, humans transforming into animals, have been passed down for generations. Was it possible that John's brother had somehow been cursed, or had he fallen victim to an old legend? In many cultures, the forest has always been a place where the boundaries between the human world and the supernatural blur. These ancient tales tell of beings who could change form, transitioning between man and beast. Could it be that Tom's brother, Jack, had been unknowingly tied to one of these very legends? As John began to investigate further, he discovered that he wasn't the only one who had experienced something strange in the forest. There were rumors of people who'd gone missing, only to later be found wandering the woods in a dazed state, sometimes with no memory of what had happened. And there were reports of animals acting in ways no one could explain. The more Tom searched for answers, the more questions piled up. Could the bear have been his brother, or was it something else entirely? What if the connection between them wasn't just a coincidence? What if, in some way, his brother had tried to communicate with him, guiding him through the forest to find the creature? Days turned into weeks, and Tom began to spend more and more time with the bear. It wasn't just the bear's appearance or the way it moved that unsettled him, it was the feeling that the creature was more aware of him than any normal animal should be. The cub would follow him, sit beside him, and even respond to his voice in ways that defied logic. Days turned into weeks, and John began to spend more and more time with the bear. It wasn't just the bear's appearance or the way it moved that unsettled him, it was the feeling that the creature was more aware of him than any normal animal should be. The cub would follow him, sit beside him, and even respond to his voice in ways that defied logic. Could this bear truly have a connection to Jack? John found himself wondering whether he was helping the bear, or if, in some strange way, the bear was helping him. Was this nature's way of bringing them back together? Or was the forest playing some kind of twisted game with him? The deeper John dove into this mystery, the more he began to question his own sanity. Every clue seemed to open up more unanswered questions. The bear's strange behavior, the way it seemed to understand him on a deeper level, the way it always appeared to be waiting for him at the edge of the forest. It was like something from a dream. And that's when it hit him. John had always believed that his brother was lost, taken by the forest. But what if Jack wasn't lost? What if he had been here all along, trapped between the world of the living and the world of the unknown? John stood there, watching as the bear cub disappeared into the fog. He wasn't sure what he had just experienced, but he knew one thing for certain: the forest had a power that no one could explain. Some forces, he realized, were beyond human comprehension. And maybe that was okay. Maybe some mysteries were meant to remain unsolved. It was a chapter of John's life he would never forget. And though the bear was never seen again, the question remained: had he truly saved the bear, or had the bear, in some otherworldly way, saved him? Sometimes, the greatest mysteries don't have clear answers. Sometimes, they leave us with more questions than we ever had before. But one thing is certain: the forest has its secrets. And every so often, it decides to reveal them to those who are willing to listen. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you've enjoyed this mysterious tale, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this incredible story. Until next time, remember to always question the world around you, because sometimes the truth is far stranger than fiction. See you soon.